Welcome to the Oh My Gosh, You're Glowing podcast, a space where the root of bioindividual energetics is exposed and glowing from the inside out becomes inevitable. I'm your host, Lindsay Walker, former IT software developer turned multidimensional healer and founder of Soul Fam Wellness. This podcast is for healers, light workers, new earth leaders, and conscious women, aka awakened luminaries, who are lighting your own path forward, allergic to band-aid fixes, and respect the deep inner work. Every week, I bring you raw and honest conversations to activate your unique soul codes, supporting your grounded ascension. This is where multidimensional healing becomes a roadmap back to your soul. Because let's be real, living your entire life on a constant healing journey was never the goal anyways. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Oh My Gosh, You're Glowing podcast. I'm so excited to be here with you all this week in a solo episode. I know we have had some incredible guests lately, and the guest episodes have been getting so much traction, so much love. So keep listening to those, keep sharing those, because I absolutely love having conversations with other people to bring new perspectives to this podcast and to all of you as my listeners. But I also love to sit and just chat with you one-on-one, which is what we are going to do today. And to give you a little teaser of what today is all about, it has been an episode that I've been wanting to record since I brought back the podcast back in January, February of this year. And it was going to be the first podcast episode back, and then it just didn't feel right to record until today. So here we are. Today's episode is going to be all about left spin. So if you're like, what is left spin? If you've been hearing me or seeing me talking about it on my Instagram stories and kind of talking about left spin and working on this with my clients, we are going to talk all about left spin today. So wonder no more. We're going to break everything down for you. I'm going to explain to you what left spin is, why it's so important to not be in left spin and what this actually means, how I see it psychically, and also what you can actually do about it, because I'm not just going to leave you hanging. There's actually a rhyme and a reason to why you actually want to pay attention to this. So before we get into it, if you are someone that has been wanting to work with me one-on-one, I do have some spots open for either 6-month or 12-month Ascend, which is my private multidimensional mentorship, cellular detox, and energy healing containers. These are so potent. They are for healers, light workers, conscious women like you who are not trying to heal to fix yourself, but honestly just want to be the clearest, strongest vessel possible for you to do your work, or for you to just be the highest version of yourself here on planet Earth. So DM me if this is for you, if you want to inquire or apply to one of those spots. All right, so let's get into it. What is left spin? You've heard me talk about it. I've had 3 client sessions actually this past weekend, and we talked about left spin with every single one of them. And I keep saying we, it was me, maybe my spirit guides. I don't know. It was me. There's no we, just me. Anyways, I talked to them about what left spin is, because every single one of them came up as in left spin. So, and also when I say, oh, someone came up as, or someone tested, and you'll hear me use those words a lot, I'm always talking about muscle testing. So if you're watching on video, this is my little pendulum that I use all the time for muscle testing. That is my tool of choice. It works for me. I'm good at it. Actually, I'm great at it. And that is just what creates the most ironclad protocols and just perfect answers. All right, maybe not perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. It's like there is, but there isn't. Okay, wrong word. It creates the most ironclad protocols and gives me the highest and best good answers for you, for my clients, for myself, whoever I'm testing. And so when I'm doing muscle testing, it's also referred to as energy testing, however you'd like to refer to it as. I'm essentially testing your energy field. And so I am always, when I'm talking about when it comes up, it's coming up from muscle testing. So whether you're a new client or a recurring client, it doesn't matter. I'm always going to be testing you for left spin at the very beginning of the session. And here's why. Left spin is looked at in a bioenergetic lens. So if you actually looked at your cells and you saw which direction they're spinning, left spin means, if you looked under the microscope, you saw your cells, left spin means the cells are actually spinning energetically to the left, meaning counterclockwise. The opposite, of course, is called right spin. Right spin is meaning that your cells are spinning to the right or clockwise direction. Now, what's the difference? I test for left spin because left spin is considered the non-healing state. It is essentially there is not enough energy or there's no energy in the cell. It's like the lights are off. So, the way I see it psychically, because I actually tap into the energy of my clients as well. So, there's muscle testing going on, but then I also have a way of doing an energy healing to put you into right spin. So, I've tapped in and seen it in my third eye, in my mind's eye. And so it looks like the lights are off. The energetic lights are off. There's no energy in the cell. There's no movement in the cell. It's like things are just off. And so the left spin is when things are off. You're in a non-healing state. Right spin is when there is energy in the cell, the lights are on, you're in a healing state. There's movement. There is the ability to absorb nutrients. When you're in left spin, you're not able to absorb nutrients as well either. And so this to me is so, so, so important, and nobody is talking about it. Everyone is talking about the nervous system, which great, amazing. That's foundational too. But nobody is talking about this left spin. And I actually learned about it through a bioenergetic supplement company that I work really closely with. And so I tested it out. I was like, okay, let's test this out. Every single time I would get a new client and I would test them to see if they were in left spin. And so far, everyone that comes to me new, 100% of people are in left spin in some way, shape, or form. So, what I have also found, because if you don't know much about muscle testing, the quality of the answer is in the quality of the question you ask. So if you ask a really generalized question, you're going to get a really generalized response or answer. If you ask a really specific question, you're going to get a really specific answer. You're only asking yes, no questions. But my point is, if you are asking really generic questions, it just doesn't give you the best answers. So muscle testing is all about the questions that you ask. And so when I was doing a lot of research with this, I started to ask different types of questions. So, what I have found is you can be in left spin in your entire body, just whole body is in left spin. In general, you're just not in healing state. There's not a lot of movement energetically in your cells. The lights really are not on, they are very much off. And there's not a lot of absorbing of nutrients. Things are not working optimally. That's whole body. You can also be in left spin from an organ standpoint, like your brain could be in left spin, your liver could be in left spin, your heart, your blood, your lymphatic fluid, any body part organ. I'm usually testing the drainage pathways. There's very specific ones that I'm really caring about from this particular lens and level. Your chakras can also be in left spin. So your energy centers can be in left spin, where they're either really not spinning, they're spinning to the left, which means there's not really any energy in the cell, or in the energy center. Your meridians can be in left spin. I don't tend to test those as often because from my perspective, I usually stop at either whole body, organs, or chakras. Those are the ones that I really focus on. But honestly, anything could be in left spin. Your body systems could be in left spin. So your entire digestive system could be in left spin. Your entire lymphatic system could be in left spin, things like that. So why is this important? Well, obviously, if you're in left spin, you're not in a healing state. And we want to be in a healing state to allow things to move and flow. If something energetically or physically that your body considers a toxin comes into your field or comes into your body, if you're in right spin or you're in a healing state, those things will just detox right out. Your body will say, oh, nope, we don't want this anymore. It's not in our highest and most good, and kick it out. If you're in this left spin or you're in a non-healing state, your body is really bogged down, things are not moving and flowing optimally, and these things come into your field or in your body has a harder time kicking it out, detoxing it, letting it go, and it becomes more of an attachment. Now, this is the very first thing I look at. The very first thing I test is testing for left spin for a new client, and also, like I said, all my recurring clients, because and we're talking about this in a minute, but you can stay in left spin. I'm sorry, you can stay in right spin once we get you into right spin, but then you can also come out of it and go back into left spin, and we're going to talk about why. This is my first line of defense as far as how to support you. Whether you are coming in as an energy client and we're only doing energy work, or you're coming in as a private mentorship client and we're doing both cellular detox and energy healing, either way, this is really important to look at. I will also say the other thing that would be super foundational, one of the first things to do, in fact, it's something that I just did for myself earlier, is a clearing, which is some people don't love some of the words that I'm about to say. So, you know, come into this with an open mind. Don't go running away because of the words I'm about to use. But the type of clearings would be a being clearing, a what the stone medicine teacher that I've been learning from calls a dragon clearing, what my mom has now nicknamed a dust bunny clearing, or what many people know as an entity clearing. And the entity word is usually the thing that makes people run away scared. And the reason being that being another foundational piece is because between here's my top 3 between being in left spin, your nervous system being in freeze, or you having some kind of energetic attachment, those are the 3 things that will keep you from healing optimally, or from your health being in an optimal state, or from living your optimal life. From my experience, from what I've seen. And you can do all this healing work and then it's not really sticking, because those are the 3 foundational pieces that I have seen impact people the most. Now, let's go back to left spin. There was a little bit of a tangent that we needed. Let's go back to left spin. The way to know you're in left spin without muscle testing, because muscle testing is how I do it. People use bioenergetic machines to test as well. There's multiple ways to test for it. Say you don't do either one of those. How to know you are in left spin. So a lot of people, if you feel like you're on this hamster wheel of healing and you keep doing certain things over and over and over and over and over again, and you just feel like there's no real progress, there's a good chance you might be in left spin. The reason being is if you're putting in all of this work and all of this energy towards the goal of quote unquote healing, and let me stop there for a minute too, because I truly believe your body is always healing. And I've said this before, but healing is just the removal of toxins, of energy, of things, of objects, of energetic blockages that are not really your true soul, whole you. You're already whole. You yourself, your human, your meat suit, and your soul connection, you are already whole. But there are things that we interact with that come in and attach to us and attach to our body. And so the healing is really clearing away, detoxing away, letting go of the things that are not really you. You don't need to heal to fix yourself. You need to, quote unquote, do healing work to come back to your whole self. So cleaning away all of the other junk. That's what healing is. So, say you're doing all this healing work and you're just on this hamster wheel and you feel like you're not really progressing, especially in your body and health. It could be in other ways too, but that's, I would say, the most common, especially in this particular way of looking at it. When the lights are off, when the energetic lights are off, it's because there's really no energy. And so you might be dousing yourself with all of these supplements, but your body really doesn't have the ability to absorb and use the nutrients that you're putting into your body, or maybe it's not high quality. And so that's why it's not absorbing. There could be all kinds of reasons, but you think you're doing all of these things right, quote unquote, right, but your body's not able to use and absorb the energy or the nutrients that you're giving it. And so there's no progress being made. It does also sometimes feel like the body is stuck. There can be like this stuckness, this, yes, the hamster wheel, but just kind of like you're running up against a wall over and over and over again. And as far as what to do about it, because I know a lot of people will come to me and say, okay, great, I'm in left spin. Like, now what? Like, what do we do? So I've been working with a client who, when I really started honing in on this piece, we started working and looking at her protocols a little bit differently. So, one, we really started focusing on left spin. And then we also refocused the intention on her protocols with breaking certain cycles of like, okay, there's cycles that are wanting to be broken. And for her, it was all about really optimizing the health of her liver and making sure she's not reabsorbing toxins because she's been doing this work for several decades, actually. This is not new to her, but she's been feeling like all I do is support my liver, and then all I do is trying to remove toxins. And she's like, it feels like they're being reabsorbed. So, what can happen too is you release the toxins from your body if you're on some kind of detox, but if your drainage pathways aren't open or something in the drainage funnel is not allowing them to leave, they reabsorb and recirculate from your body. That is the number one thing that happens when you get constipated and you're on a detox. That is like the biggest recipe for disaster, which is why I always recommend working with a professional practitioner who knows what they're doing with this work so that you don't just take these really potent supplements and then all of a sudden it kicks up all the different toxins in your body and they don't come out, and so they just recirculate. So going back to my client, we redirected how we were focusing the intentions of her protocol. And when we started with left spin, I did a lot of muscle testing on her to figure out, okay, what's going on with this left spin? How long has she been in left spin? She'd also been in nervous system freeze for likely almost her entire life to some capacity. And she had also been in left spin for most of her life. That was through muscle testing. We started to figure out, okay, when has this pattern really started? So, when someone's body is in a nervous system freeze stage or left spin for that long, the body has been trained to essentially be off more than it's been on. So there's a higher level of comfort and familiarity to the body for being off or in a frozen state than there is being on, moving and flowing. So you can be doing all this work, all this healing work to thaw your nervous system and to get back into right spin, to get into this healing state. But if your body is more comfortable in the freeze, in the off, in the non healing, then it's just going to revert back to that if there's not like a retraining to get you in to a calming nervous system state or a not even calming, but an ability to flex your nervous system for it to expand and flex, and then to be in right spin, to be in this healing state. So, what we did for her is saw it as a retraining opportunity. And so, there are energetic ways to get you from left spin to right spin. Anytime someone comes to me for a one on one session of any kind, we're always doing energy work in something that I'm doing any way that you come to me. And so if I test you and you're in left spin, then we'll do an energy healing to put you back into right spin, where, this is just part of the intuitive energy healing that I do, and I'll always muscle test to check. So that's one way to do it from an energetic lens. Another way is to do it through supplements. There are specific supplements that help you get and stay in right spin. And so I can test can muscle test specific supplements for you, what's going to keep you in right spin. Now, note, this is only for my private mentorship clients, the supplement piece of it. Energy healing is for anyone that comes to me. And so with her, we did it as a retraining, and she's also a medicine woman herself. And so this was, I would say, a more advanced way to do this form of retraining. But I knew that she was absolutely up for the task, up for the challenge, and she would do great at this. So I first started by putting her in right spin energetically. I did the energy healing for her, tested exactly which organs, if it was whole body, all of that, and checked to make sure she was in right spin. And then with her, I said, okay, every single morning, I want you to muscle test yourself to see if you are in left spin. Because what's happening was her body was just like rubber banding backwards, 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 like every single time. So I would put her in right spin, and then her body would rubber band back really fast back into left spin. So I said, okay, every morning, check yourself to see if you're in left spin. If you are, check to see what you need to do to put yourself in right spin. Again, she's also an energy healer as well. So this is something that she could do. And we were having her do a little bit more retraining herself. So I would do some of the work and then she would do some of the work on herself. And what was happening was we were able to see a pattern. We were also able to see what types of things were putting her back in left spin super easily because we were keeping a really tight pulse on it every single day. She was testing herself every single morning. And what we found was sometimes, like at the very beginning, when she was doing this, she was saying like, okay, it's coming up that my workout is putting me back in left spin. And so I'm like, okay, so I did some more testing and we basically found that she wasn't getting enough energy or carbs and protein before her workout. And so then it was putting her in left spin. There was too much stress and it would just rubber band right back. So we were able to make that shift and make sure that she was eating enough fuel and eating enough nutrient rich foods before she would go to her workout so that the workout wouldn't put her in left spin. It would actually be something supportive for her because she had enough fuel, she had enough nutrients. And so with that, because we kept such a quick pulse on it every single day, there was certain supplements. If she found herself back in left spin, she could say she had certain supplements that we had already muscle tested specifically for her that she knew, okay, if my body is continuously getting in left spin, these are the supplements I take to help get it back. And she was doing this for, I'd say, 1 or 2 weeks, like religiously. And she started to notice that when she would test herself every morning, instead of it always being in left spin, it was not. It was like, no, you're not in left spin anymore. You're in right spin. And so, but it took that healing, or it took that retraining of every single day, really retraining herself back into right spin, turning the lights on through different avenues for it to really start to hold. And then the supplements were starting to work better. We knew like, okay, she needed more of the support with food, things like that, stuff that we wouldn't have necessarily known if we didn't have her test every single day. Now, the two things that I mentioned were energy healing and supplements are the most common things that will put you back into right spin, into this healing state. But something else that I found too, because I got super curious, I'm like, all right, what else puts you in right spin? Because there's got to be something else that puts you in this healing state. Like, I love supplements and I love energy work, but I just feel like there's something else. So, through my research and curiosity, I just started testing all kinds of things to figure out what else can support you, what else is going to do this. And what I found was different tools, modalities, daily rituals that support your purpose and mission here on earth will keep you in right spin. So, okay, for example, I know I'm someone that is supposed to get on a microphone and speak, whether that is on a stage, whether that's on my own stage, aka this podcast, whether that is on my Instagram, whether that is on a live class, whatever it is. Like, I am meant to get out here and speak and channel and share my voice openly. Right now, I am not reading off a script. Yes, I have some notes over here because I made some notes for this episode. I wanted to make sure that there were certain key points that I hit on, but otherwise, this is just me showing up and talking. I know that that is part of my mission. Some of the other things are leading energy healings, leading breathwork ceremonies. Basically, leading any type of group or speaking is like really high up there on my mission, high up there on my purpose. For some of my other clients, I know it is doing healing work, but maybe it's writing. Writing for them is really, really part of their mission and purpose here. It is part of their soul mission. It is very much, it gives them energy. So anything that gives you energy, or also it could be things like dance, it could be things like meditation, it could be things like breath work where you're not necessarily having to lead or speak or share something, but it fuels you. So, oftentimes, doing an energy work, healing, or a meditation or breath work or something for me can also put me in right spin. So, anything that you feel like gives you energy, something creative could very much be something that gives you energy that puts you in right spin. Maybe you're an artist and painting gives you energy. That's going to put you in right spin. So, it's not just supplements. While I love supplements, that can absolutely work. But anything that is going to fuel your purpose and mission in life will also put you in right spin. So if you feel like you're someone in left spin, prioritize what you are here to do, how you are here to give to the collective, to the earth. Now, during this time, I was also at the Tucson Gem Show in February, and I started to wonder how stones and crystals impact this particular left spin, right spin concept. And so again, I start testing. I'm like, I wonder if all stones and crystals spin to the right. Like, do they support this whole healing process? I start testing and I start using my pendulum, and so I would just use the pendulum and say, okay, show me which direction this crystal is spinning energetically. And it would just start spinning to the right. In fact, I have one. So I'm going to see if I can show you. I don't know if you're watching on video, we're going to see if this visual works. I don't know. So here's my crystal. It might be backwards for you, so you guys are just going to have to trust me which direction I'm saying it's going. Here's my E4 light crystal. If it focuses, maybe. Focus. Okay, you can see it. Here's my pendulum, and then I'm going to tell my pendulum, show me the energetic spin direction of this crystal. It immediately goes to the right. This is going to the right. I don't know if it's backwards on my video. I'm really not sure, but it's going to the right. This is as best as I can show you. So I started just testing all kinds of different crystals. I was like, which direction is this spinning? Which one is this spinning? And then I finally just asked. I was like, is every stone and crystal spinning to the right? And I got a yes. So from my research, deduction, and just playing around, it seems that all crystals and stones are in right spin and then can also support you to get into right spin, which absolutely makes sense because I've been diving more into stone medicine lately. I just find it really fascinating. My mom has been doing stone medicine for years, and something recently just really got me hooked into it to just learn more and add to my tool belt. And stones are here to support our healing, and when you use them in grid form, they're even more powerful together when you give them one job together. And so it doesn't seem weird to me that they actually help you get and stay in right spin because they are healing. Stones are healing in themselves, and they have so much more power than most people give them credit for. So yes, stones and crystals can absolutely get you and keep you in right spin. I will say there sometimes needs to be some intentionality behind it because like I was saying with the client I was talking about earlier, she's around stones and crystals all the time, and yet she was still in left spin. So sometimes there does need to be some intentionality behind what healing you're actually looking for and saying, okay, I really want to put my body in right spin, and we can use the stones and crystals because we know it already has that energy and power behind it, not necessarily just standing around crystals and stones. So that's, I would say, the little nuance there. One other thing that I realized helps get you into right spin is the 111 alignment tuning fork that I purchased this past year. Surprisingly enough, not all of the tuning forks put you in right spin, but it also could be person specific. But the energetic frequency of 111, which the person I purchased it from calls it the alignment tuning fork, does also help you get into right spin. And so actually when we were at the Tucson Gem Mineral Show, My mom and I were playing around with my aunt there actually, and we were just like doing all kinds of healing work on her for fun. And I was like, "Oh, test if she's in left spin," and she got a yes. So I was like, "Okay, here, use the alignment tuning fork. Like, use this, use that." And so she used the alignment tuning fork, and then she checked afterwards, and she was like, "No, now she's in right spin. She's not in left spin anymore." And so that was just really fun to see in real time. And she just used it on top of her crown over her head. And so it really can be that fast. It really can be from like, you test it, you do one thing, and then instantaneously, energetically, you're back there. Now, that's what I say about the retraining because sometimes people can really easily go into right spin, the healing state, but they will, like I was telling you about earlier, they'll rubber band back into left spin if that's where their body feels safer. It's been trained in that direction unconsciously, but that's just kind of where it defaults back to. So you have to know, you know, is this something that just happened recently where you feel like you are not in a healing state if you feel like this applies to you, or do you feel like this has been happening for a long time? That could be where the retraining happens. So, okay, I did a fun test before this and I wanted to just check. And once I came on here and just recorded this episode and then come back and actually check the thing that I tested at the beginning, but I wasn't going to say anything if it didn't work. So, okay, hang on. Let me just test myself real quick. Okay, so before I started the recording of this episode, I tested myself, and you're just gonna have to believe me. Like I don't have any like proof. I muscle tested myself, and really, you guys can't see the pendulum very well, anyways. So this is all on honor system and belief. You can choose to believe me or not, your choice. But essentially, before I started recording this episode, I tested myself and I tested if I was in left spin, and I got a yes. I got my brain was in left spin. I actually know that I'm supposed to do an energy healing on myself today. Hadn't gotten to it yet. I did a different one earlier instead, but I was like, yeah, I'll get to the brain one later. I wanted to record this episode first. So I knew going into this episode that my brain was in left spin. Now I'm testing right now. I'm going to show you my pendulum as best as I can. You may not be able to see the direction very well, but this is as transparent as I can possibly be on video. So here's me testing myself. My name is Lindsay Walker. Yes, this is my back and forth yes. Let's see. Is Lindsay in left spin at all right now? This is a no. This is a very large no. Is Lindsay's brain in left spin anymore? Is her entire body in right spin? Yes. For those of you who are listening, the answer is yes. My entire body is in right spin. Why is that significant to even share with you or show you? Because one of the things that I said was living out your soul's mission and purpose puts you in right spin. So here I am doing something, recording a podcast episode that I know is part of my soul's purpose and mission here. And all I had to do was sit down and do it, and it shifts my body into right spin. So that means doing more of this, even that quote unquote retraining means just doing more of what you're here to do. That can be retraining you. Doing more of what you're here to do will put you in right spin, will put you in that healing state. It will actually give you energy. Even if your body feels like it's doesn't have as much energy, something could be challenging. It can be very energetically draining, but it also gives you energy at the same time. I feel like you guys know what I mean. So that is today's episode, all about left spin. I hope that was supportive for you. Know that there are so many ways to support yourself, and wherever you're at on your journey of life, know that you are exactly where you're meant to be. And this is just your reminder to lean deeper into your soul's mission and purpose, because it will actually heal your body. It will clear out and let go of all the junk, all the shit that is not really you. And if you are wanting more support to get your body into an optimal state to really become your true full light body self, then absolutely come work with me. I have a couple different ways to work together. You can book a multidimensional body reading, which is a 60-minute session on Zoom, intuitive reading and energy healing. I also have a few spots open for remote energy healing weeks, which is a full week with me inside Telegram. And we're doing all energy healing for you. And yes, we will absolutely be testing left spin and putting you back into right spin if that applies, which, spoiler alert, if you're listening, it's 99.9% applies. Any kind of clearing work, like I had mentioned earlier, is absolutely included as well. Or if you want to work really deep with me and just go all in on private mentorship, cellular detox, and energy healing for 6 or 12 months, then you can apply. There is all the links for everything below. And that is it for today's episode. I am sending you all so much love, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. I am incredibly grateful for your time and presence that you shared with me today. If you love this episode, be sure to follow and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And please share with a friend so we can continue to expand the light codes with our soul fam. If you're looking to transform your life from the inside out with multidimensional healing, see the show notes for more details on ways to work with me. See you next week for another episode of the Oh My Gosh, You're Glowing podcast.